Hey guys, I am back after quite a while. Sorry it took me so long to kind of pull myself together, but I wanted to do a kind of best of as far as thrifting is concerned, and things I've found over the years, and just a couple tricks as far as what I look for and how I go about figuring out what's worth it to buy, what to keep my eye out for. Um, but so I'll um, I'll start with the sweater that I have on. Actually, I'm wearing this today in my outfit post. It's a vintage Ralph Lauren sweater, which I love, and actually I found it in the spring last year, so it was like, I don't know, April or May, and so I was so excited. I always look through the sweaters all year round. There's a couple things that I will look for no matter what season it is. And actually, some of the best things I've found have been off season because people aren't looking for it, or they're just cleaning out their closet for a new season. And so they're getting rid of whatever. And so, yeah, I found this and was just so excited. I've been waiting and waiting to wear it. But within like a day or two after finding this one, I actually found this one too, which is also Ralph Lauren. I mean, they both were maybe like $5 or $6. So I was thrilled. I love finding like holiday type sweaters thrifting and not necessarily spend a lot of money on them. Because for whatever reason I find them. They're out there to be found, but I think the key is to look when it's not the holiday season. Because if you were to go in right now, everyone is looking for holiday sweaters, and so they kind of get snatched up quick. And actually, sometimes you'll find good ones. Like I know some stores do like an ugly sweater rack because that's such a popular party theme. They'll do, they'll just gather all of the holiday sweaters together. And I'll look through those, even though they're supposed to be ugly. Sometimes you find gems in there. So yeah, the key is to just kind of always have your eye open, looking for things, because there's things like this that are classic that are not going to go out of style. Like next year, it's not going to be like suddenly everyone's over holiday sweaters. Like if it's a good one that's well made and like a classic design, it's going to be something that you'll have forever. At least that's what I think. So, another thing that kind of goes along with that are my tweed blazers that I've thrifted. This one's one of my favorite. It's Harris Tweed, which is just a really well-known Scottish wool, still made in Scotland. And this is a great like gray kind of tweed. It still has like the leather buttons. I am obsessed with tweed blazers. I feel like I could live in those all winter and not even wear a winter coat half the time because they're really warm. They add such interesting texture, and I love how it's multicolored, so you can kind of mix and match it with a lot of different things. So I look for these all year round also. I always look through the blazers. That might even be one of the first sections I look through when I walk into a thrift store is the blazers. I mean, anyone who knows me and who's been following me for a while knows I love a good blazer. So, and I think maybe almost all of my blazers are thrifted. I maybe have one or two from like Target or H&M, but yeah, the great classic blazers. Another trick with blazers is I always check in the kids section, in the boys section. So I've found quite a few schoolboy blazers, like the navy with gold buttons, and they'll be in the kids section. And if you're a women's small, a lot of times 14, 16 size in boys will fit you and will be perfect because it's not oversized. Because sometimes the vintage can tend to be a little weird in the shoulders or in the arms or whatever. But the kid sizing I actually find works no matter how old it is. That makes sense. So yeah, that's another trick. Another thing that I have, And I'm kind of going just by this season. So maybe in the spring, I will do a thrift haul of like my favorite spring items or summer items or things like that. So right now I'll just stick to what I'm wearing right now and what I've had in my closet for a while that I've thrifted. So this is my fur vest, and I just love it. I found this in Chicago when I still lived there, so it had to be maybe 4 years ago I found it, and it's Gap, reversible, and it's so great. I've thrifted quite a few of these and sold them in my shop. They go really fast. This was one of the best fur vests I think that any company ever made. Like, it's just, I don't know, there's just a good weight to it. I love the collar, how it pops up, and the coloring of the fur. I don't know, there's a lot of fur vests out there that are kind of like a little like off in their coloring, and so every time I wear this, I get, where'd you get that? Like, where, is that available now? And unfortunately it's not. I wish that Gap would bring these back. And actually Old Navy had a really good kind of like lesser version, but it's really just as nice, that I've also thrifted from around that same time period. This is a random thing, but with Gap and Old Navy, I think, and maybe even J. Crew, you can tell what year it was made by inside the tag. It will usually say what the year is somewhere printed. So this one was from 07, 2004. So that's how long ago they made it, like 10 years ago, which is really crazy. So it must have come out with their fall stuff that year. Anyways, that's just a random tidbit, but I find it helpful if you find things and you're trying to like look for it on eBay in your size or whatever. It kind of helps sometimes to know the year that it was made, produced. I find that especially true with kids stuff. If there was kind of a theme that they went with that year, it's good to know. So I'll move on to shoes. Sorry. I found these penny loafers just a couple months ago, which are like one of my favorite finds because I've been looking for penny loafers forever. And I loved that these are Cole Haan, so they're really well made. And someone else broke them in for me, which is awesome because I love how they're just aged perfectly. I'm a big fan of actually putting pennies in penny loafers. So, but yeah, I find a lot of really great Cole Haan and Bass, like older shoes. I don't know who's giving them away. Like maybe it's older people or something where they just don't have use for them anymore. But I'm always really excited when I find them because they will last forever. And the leather just gets better and better each year. So I have a lot of people ask me about what I do with shoes and thrifting, and I feel like a lot of people that are asking that question probably won't like my answer in that I just don't think a lot about it. Like if they look clean and they don't smell, most likely there's nothing wrong with them. And I've been thrifting for years, and have never had an issue. Anyone I know who thrifts has never had an issue. People that are taking their time to package up their stuff and donate it to a thrift store, I find are not the kind of people that have lots of diseases and gross things. And if there is some kind of disease or funkiness going on, you will smell it. So if it smells, then put it back. Otherwise, I just wipe it down, if it seems dirty or whatever to me. So again, I know some germaphobes might not really like that answer, but that is the truth, and I just don't spend a lot of time worrying about it or thinking about it. So, yeah, I hope I don't lose a bunch of you because of that. True confessions of the thrifter. But these are a pair of shoes I found probably 2 or 3 years ago, and they're just plaid flats from Target. I wish I knew what year they were, but I got these for 75 cents at some random Salvation Army when I was in California visiting friends, and I just loved them. So again, I found them off season. I always am looking for plaid anything, and plaid's been around forever. So Most likely, if you walk into a thrift store at any time of the year, you'll find great plaid stuff. And again, you will usually find it off season. So that's just another tip for you. So I love those every year, like pulling those out when it's Christmas time. I'll just do one more pair of shoes, and that's these boots. I found some just basic black riding boots. So I always look at the boots all year round. And these are vintage. I call them vintage just because from the tag it just says Nordstrom on the inside, and you can tell that they're not any time recent, if that makes sense. So, but they're just a classic leather boot, like 100% leather. But I think the thrift store didn't really price them that high. I think they were like $7 or $8. But I think it's because they were a no-name. Like, they don't have anything printed on the bottom. I kind of had to use my like flashlight on my phone to like look in to see what the brand was. But you can tell leather, like good leather. Like, you can smell it, you can feel it, and this is like butter. And so I feel like that's a key with shoes. I don't know. I'm not a label snob. I just am more about the material, how it's made, how well it's made, what it's made with. And if you know your leather and you know your tweed or just different knits or how things are made, even jeans, like the amount of cotton spandex, like if you kind of just know what the good quality is, what the good ratio on that is, like you'll know what to buy, what's going to last, what's a good investment, regardless of whether or not it's a brand that you recognize. It's always in the details, I find, with thrifting. So if it has good details, it doesn't really matter what the brand is, because brands will surprise you. And sometimes brands that are not that great now were great back in the 80s and even 90s. And so their stuff is just really well made from then. And so if you find it now, like I love finding like Old Bass or LL Bean, Land's End, like their stuff from 10, 15, 20 years ago was just made way better. So anyways, that was a kind of side note. But so this is maybe one of my favorite finds. I've thrifted quite a few Coach bags, but I found this one 2 years ago, right at like the height of like when the station bag was coming back, like when they were making it again and everyone had it. And I found this in a thrift store for $20 and I was freaking out. So I always check behind the display cases to see what they have. Now, some places will way overprice or whatever, but every once in a while you'll find a diamond in the rough. And this one didn't have its tag, and it was actually missing the buckle here. So I think that's why they had it only priced at $20. But the thing that's good to know about like Coach bags or like Dooney & Burke or different places where they've been around for a while and they have classic bags, they take care of their classic bags. So I actually called in at the store before I bought this. I called Coach and I, just made sure that this was authentic. With Coach, there's a style number on the inside that's like printed on the leather. The last 4 numbers tell you the style number. And so I called in because I wanted to know like how much they would charge to fix the buckle. But what you can do is you can just look it up on your phone. That's what I do usually, is I just Google the style number vintage Coach bag, and you'll see a bunch of pictures come up either from eBay or Etsy or different things like that. And that will kind of verify, like, does that style number match the bag that you have? And then the key with these is just looking at the details again. Like, this is really great, soft leather. It's all brass. It's not like cheesy gold or too shiny. And so they actually, Coach will fix like minor issues with bags. They'll even replace straps if they have them like in stores. So I took this one into the store once I called in and knew that they would fix it. I took this one into the store and gave it to them. They sent it in and fixed the buckle and sent it back to me. And it was $25. So it was totally worth it. So altogether, I paid $45 for this bag. And the girls at the shop were so sweet because I didn't have a tag for this, and they like found an extra one in the back, which doesn't exactly match the leather, but I kind of like it anyways. It was just really sweet of them. And I've had a friend who took hers in, and they had extra straps in the back, and they gave them to her. And I told them that I thrifted it. They don't care. They just take good care of their products. Like, it's just a good company with good customer service. So that is my tip about Coach bags that I have found really helpful. It's good to know that you can get it fixed if you need to. Also, with just basic leather things like boots or bags, a good cobbler is really important to have. There's usually good ones at Nordstrom, like if you don't have another place to go. But like I researched here when I moved to Salt Lake City, just like a good place, and it's like a family-owned business that's been like passed down generation to generation, and they do great. And I actually call them to get quotes on the spot. Like if I find a pair of shoes that, you know, like for instance, once I found a pair of UGG like leather boots where the sole was kind of coming like unattached at the bottom, so it just needed to be glued back on. So I called and asked for a quote. It was like under $20, so it was worth it for me to buy that. So I always have like the tailor on hand to call before kind of buying things. Or like someone that does alterations, like how much is it going to be for me to hem these pants or to zip up, you know, like to replace a zipper on something, is really helpful to know before going in. Another thing I look for all year round that I love are vintage wool blankets. And I've probably found 8 to 10 at this point, and I just keep collecting them. Like I feel like you can just never have enough. It's both these and the kind of like Mexican blankets. I just love those, and I love having them, and they tend to be like under $10, and they're so great. Now, it is important to make sure that they don't have like a smell to them, or they don't have any holes like from, you know, whatever, like moths or whatever, because you can't just wash these easily. You know, you would have to dry clean these. So, but because of the way I use them, like we take them on picnics or we use them, you know, as decoration in our house, I don't feel like they have to be like clean as long as they don't smell or have like anything like dirt on them or whatever. So otherwise I would take them to a dry cleaner, which is totally worth it. These blankets are priceless, I think, and they last forever. It's just kind of a fun thing. I love finding the Christmassy ones because I pull them out every year for Christmas. It's kind of part of our like just making our house more cozy for the holidays. So I thought I would also share with you just another thing I always look for are dresses for Charlotte. I'm like obsessed with thrifting clothes for her, and I think one of the big reasons like why I'm totally sold on it is because I find I don't get as stressed out when she just ruins her clothes. Which just happens with kids. Like she's crawling all over the place, she's trying to feed herself, and it's like a total mess. But if I know I only spent a couple dollars on something, like I'm not going to stress out. Like I don't want to be that mom that's like hovering over my kid because I spent $40 on something for her to wear. It just seems a little bit unfair. So like this, I don't even know if you can see it. It's a vintage dress. I love the vintage dresses. It's velvet on top with a satin bow. This one was like $1 or something. And this is another one. It's lace with like a red satin bow. So I especially like looking for holiday dresses or special occasion dresses because, again, you can spend a lot of money on these. And I think that that's worth it for, like, you know, to get one. But I think it's nice to have a couple other ones, too, like a couple backups and ones that you're not as stressed out about them kind of just being themselves in. And then this is just something funny and fun that I found. It's a little fur jacket, and on the inside, it's vintage, but it's called Lauren Bear Call, which I just thought was like the cutest thing ever. It was like $4 or something. So it's this tiny fur coat. So I'm hoping she'll tolerate it enough for me to put it on her because I just think it's too cute. But yeah, I love looking through the kids section. The thing that you'll find with kids thrifting is that you'll find a lot of special occasion things, like things that people just wore once or twice and then like moved on from. So my basics, like her jeans and Jack's jeans and, you know, just basic onesies and things like that, I always buy at the store. I don't try to thrift those because it's not worth it. You'll hardly ever find things like that in good condition because kids just destroy things. But for fun, like extra things, like cute dress shoes and dresses, and coats and things like that, I find a lot thrifting. I found some really great sweaters for Jack. I found him I should have brought it and showed you guys, but like a Ralph Lauren like flag sweater for him for like $1 in the kids section. Again, the kids stuff tends to be priced way cheaper. So if you are smaller, on the smaller side, like I always look through the girls' sizes like extra large and then like the boys' size large or extra large because you can find some really cute stuff like sweaters and jackets and things like that can translate. So anyways, hopefully that was fun for you guys to see. I don't know, people seem to be curious about what I can find thrifting, and hopefully I was able to give you some helpful tips as far as what to do. I guess my biggest tip is just to keep your eyes out all year round, to be looking for things, just to know what you want, what you're looking for all year round, to know, like, I knew when I found this sweater, like, regardless of what the trend was going to be come winter, like, I'm going to love this sweater, so I'm going to wear it, and I like it. So I think that's important, too, in thrifting. If you know, the better you know yourself, I think the more successful you'll be at thrifting things for yourself for all different seasons. So anyways, I'm not sure what I'll do next as far as a video. If you have any ideas, I'd love to hear them. Yeah, but I will be back when I have more to say. Thanks for listening and checking in with me. I love you guys. You guys are the best. And yeah, okay, bye.